The most expensive misconception about building wealth is that it's about a single, perfect moment, a genius investment, a lucky break. It's not. True wealth is not an event. It's a process of decay. Let me explain. Every financial choice you make, every paycheck you receive, has a natural half-life. The path to multimillionaire status isn't about beating decay with dramatic action. It's about intentionally building systems that slow the decay of your money's energy to a near standstill. The people on track have already built these systems. They don't see them as accounts or budgets, but as 5 distinct thermal layers. Each one traps financial heat. And today, we're going to check the temperature on yours. Let's start with the most immediate layer, where the heat dissipates the fastest, your daily cash flow. Most people operate with a leaky bucket. Money in, money out. The goal here isn't to plug every tiny leak, but to build a simple, automatic funnel. This is your insulated pipeline. It's the silent rerouting of a portion of every single dollar that touches your life before you ever see it. If you're on track, your first thermal layer is active. You're not relying on willpower to transfer money to savings at the end of the month. You've engineered an automatic transfer to a separate, slightly harder to access account the day your paycheck clears. The amount is irrelevant at first. The mechanism is everything. Because here's the subtle power of the insulated pipeline. It makes saving passive and spending active. You have to make a conscious decision to breach the insulation and move money back to spend it. This small friction is a thermal barrier. It's the difference between a radiator in an open field and one in a sealed room. One loses heat instantly. The other builds it up, degree by degree. And the heat captured by this first layer doesn't just sit there. It fuels the second, more powerful one. You're not budgeting. You're engineering thermal mass. That captured capital now becomes the raw material for your second thermal layer, the flywheel. This isn't an investment account with a fancy name. It's a specific, rules-based protocol for what happens to the money in your insulated account. Every single dollar in the flywheel has one of 2 jobs. It is either a worker or it is fuel. Workers are dollars permanently deployed into assets that generate more dollars. Think a low-cost index fund that tracks the entire market. Fuel is the cash reserve that consistently, automatically feeds the workers. If you're on track, your flywheel protocol runs quarterly. You log in, you see the accumulated fuel from your pipeline, and you execute the trade to convert that fuel into new workers. No emotion, no market timing, just the systematic conversion of capital. This is where the physics change. Because a worker dollar doesn't just sit and decay, it produces. It generates dividends and appreciates in value. It creates its own energy, which compounds and creates more workers. The flywheel, once spinning, begins to create its own thermal momentum. But without the third layer, that momentum is fragile. It can be shattered by a single event. The system's strength isn't in growth, but in its indifference to disaster. That third layer is your pressure seal. This is your emergency fund, but not as a vague concept. It is a calculated, liquid reserve whose sole purpose is to maintain the integrity of the first 2 layers. Let's give this a face. Meet Anya. She built a great pipeline and a consistent flywheel. But her pressure seal was just 1 month of expenses, a thin membrane. When her car's transmission failed, that seal ruptured. She had to stop her pipeline contributions and worse, pull fuel, and even some workers, from her flywheel to pay the bill. The thermal leak was catastrophic. Now meet David. He faced the same repair. His pressure seal was 6 months of core expenses, a thick, engineered buffer. The financial shock hit the seal, absorbed the pressure, and his pipeline and flywheel hummed on, completely untouched. His system's temperature didn't even fluctuate. The pressure seal isn't exciting. It's boring capital that seems to do nothing. But its job isn't to grow. Its job is to protect the growth happening elsewhere. It ensures that life's inevitable surprises don't force you to dismantle your wealth machine. With the first 3 layers operating, a pipeline filling a flywheel, protected by a pressure seal, you've built a closed, self-reinforcing system. You're already ahead of 95% of people. But to shift from financial stability to genuine multimillionaire trajectory, you need the 4th layer, the one that operates on a different timescale entirely. This fourth thermal layer is where time itself becomes your most powerful insulator. We call it the long arc converter. Most people see retirement accounts as just another bucket for money. If you're on track, you see your 401k or IRA as a specialized thermal chamber. Its superpower isn't just tax efficiency, though that's a massive boost. It's forced permanence. Money you convert into workers inside this chamber is virtually locked in for decades. That lock is the key. It eliminates the temptation, the possibility of a tactical withdrawal for a vacation, a car, or a moment of doubt. The long arc converter takes the flywheel protocol and supercharges it with the one ingredient short-term thinking can't access: profound patience. Let's visualize the thermal difference. Imagine two people, both 30, each deploying $500 a month into S&P 500 index fund workers. Elena uses a regular brokerage account, part of her standard flywheel. Kai maxes out his long arc converter, his IRA. For 30 years, their portfolios grow at an identical 7% annual rate. The math seems like it should be the same, but it's not. Because in year 10, Elena faces a can't-miss opportunity to buy into a friend's business. She withdraws $15,000 from her account, creating a thermal leak that costs her not just that sum, but all its future compounded energy. Kai faces the same opportunity, but his long arc converter makes accessing those funds feel impossible. He finds another way. 40 years later, the difference isn't just the $15,000. It's the multi-million-dollar echo of that single decision. The converter's structure defended his thermal mass from himself. The richest environments are the ones you can't easily disturb. Now these four layers, pipeline, flywheel, pressure seal, long arc converter, create a formidable wealth engine. But there is a fifth and final layer, the one that separates the financially secure from the genuinely transformative wealth builders. This layer doesn't deal directly with money at all. It deals with focus. We call it the directive filter. If you're on track, you have systematically reduced the number of financial decisions you need to make. Your savings rate is automatic. Your investments are automatic. Your emergency fund is automatic. Your retirement contributions are automatic. You are not constantly hunting for the next hot stock, debating new budgeting apps, or restructuring your asset allocation. Your mental bandwidth, your financial attention, is a scarce resource. The directive filter protects it. Think of it as your system's operating system, running quietly in the background. It filters out noise. A coworker's crypto obsession? Filtered. A headline about a market crash? Referenced against your flywheel protocol, then filtered. The temptation to fund a lifestyle leap with your growing capital? Blocked by the filter, which defaults to the rules of your other layers. This is the ultimate sign. Your financial life feels boring. It is managed, not manic. It grows in the background while you focus your daily energy on your career, your skills, your relationships, the things that actually increase your earning power and quality of life. The directive filter turns wealth building from a demanding hobby into a silent partner. Your attention is the final, most valuable currency. So let's take your thermal reading. 1. Is your cash flow managed by an automatic, insulated pipeline? 2. Are your savings systematically converted into productive workers via a flywheel protocol? 3. Do you have a pressure seal, a dedicated, liquid buffer that protects those systems from life's shocks? 4. Have you activated a long arc converter like a retirement account to harness decades of compounded insulation? And 5. Have you installed a directive filter, automating decisions to free your focus for what truly matters? This isn't about checking boxes today, it's about recognizing the architecture. Multimillionaire status isn't a distant summit you sprint toward. It is the gradual, inevitable outcome of a system engineered to capture and preserve energy. You don't force the result, you build the environment where the result becomes a natural byproduct. Start by auditing your layers. Find your thinnest, leakiest point. Maybe it's the lack of a pipeline or a pressure seal that's just a hope. Reinforce it, then move to the next. Layer by layer, you are not just saving money, you are constructing a thermodynamic law of your own,
one where financial energy accumulates season after season until the wealth you've built simply cannot decay. You are not chasing a number, you are becoming the environment where that number grows.
The single best financial decision you can make right now? Invest in your financial education. Hit subscribe to get our next breakdown and turn on notifications so you don't miss out, because the system only works if you apply it consistently. I'll see you in the next one.